If you'd like to work along with me at home, you can open the Project Files folder, open the Lesson 4 folder, and open the workbook called Fill Handle. Throughout the last few videos, we've been using the fill handle to copy formulas from one place to another, but we really haven't taken time yet to take a look at all the things that this thing can do. The fill handle is probably one of the most ingenious inventions in all of Excel, and it really can streamline your workflow. And hey, that's what we're all about. So let's take a look at how to use the fill handle, and we'll show you some tricks that you can do with it. Let's take the word Monday here, for example. When you click on the cell, you'll see the fill handle in the bottom right-hand corner. Move your mouse over it, and of course you'll get the thin little black cross. Now just grab the mouse and pull down and watch what happens. Excel is just happy to fill in all the days of the week for you automatically. Well, how cool is that? All right, let's go over here to this one. Here we'll just do the same thing. Use the fill handle to copy it down, and you'll see that Excel's quite capable of doing the first 3 letters of the day of the week. Let's go over to January. Here we'll see that Excel can do the months in a series. And it'll do the first 3 letters of the month. And it doesn't matter what month you start in, Excel always gets it right. As soon as it reaches December, it starts again with January. Excel's also smart enough to know that there are only 4 quarters in a year. If you take the fill handle for quarter 1 and drag it down, you'll see that it starts to repeat after it reaches quarter 4. Excel also uses the first 3 letters of the word quarter to abbreviate. Now we come to working with single digits. A lot of times you need to number stuff in a sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that kind of thing. You can do this with Excel, but if you grab the fill handle and just drag it down the way it is, all it's going to do is repeat all those numbers. Now there's several different ways to do what we want to do here. One way would be to use the AutoFill Options button right here and tell it to fill in a series. Now we're going to talk more about the AutoFill Options button in a few minutes, but hey, this is a good time to just introduce this one. Fill Series is going to turn that into sequential numbers. Now let me delete all these and let's take a look at another way to do the same thing. We're going to take this 1, and this time I'm going to hold the Control key down while I drag. Holding the Control key down allows you to fill in sequential numbers. Now here's one that a lot of people don't know too much about. I guess you would call this a secret fill handle trick. If you hold down the right mouse button on the fill handle and drag it down, when you release the button, it asks you what you want to do. And here you can just choose Fill Series. In the next column, we have a 2 and a 4, and we want the next number to be a 6 and the next number to be an 8. We want to get this filled in a series, but if you just start with the 4 and just drag it down, it's just going to repeat the 4 over and over again. So let me undo that, Control Z. If you want to get it to fill in a series, you select both the numbers and then use the fill handle to drag both of them down at the same time. Excel will do this with any increment of numbers. You can do a 5 followed by a 10. As long as you select both numbers, Excel figures out the interval between them and will copy that in a series. I know, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's say you have text followed by a number, any text. I have the word period here, but it could be your name. You could put week 1 or year 1. So watch this. Just like that. Excel increments the number, but just copies the text verbatim. All right, let's go over to the next one here. Here we have a date, and I'm just going to use the fill handle to copy that down. Let's see how Excel behaves with dates. And what we get is the same month, January, the same year, 2010, but the days increment as they go from row to row. Let's take a look at another date. Over in the next column, we have a cell that's just formatted with some blue fill color. Let's see what the fill handle does with that. Yeah, it just takes the fill color down and copies it into the other cells. Now I should point out, let me undo that, Control Z, that if I put text in this, and then use the fill handle to copy the cell down, it's going to copy both the formatting and the content. Now that's all pretty cool stuff, but now we're going to take a look at something that just extends this even further, called the AutoFill Options button. To do that, we'll go to the AutoFill Options worksheet. In the first column, we have Bob, who has red all over him, and then all the other names below Bob, of course, are black. What we want to do here is copy Bob down to the other cells, but we only want to copy the format part of this cell. Now remember, there's a certain fundamental about working with Excel that you just have to know, and that is that Excel treats the format of a cell and the content of a cell as 2 independent entities. So we should be able to copy just the format without copying Bob and overwriting all these cells. Well, let's see how it works. We'll use the fill handle to copy this down, and what we're going to get is a whole bunch of red Bobs. The AutoFill Options button appears immediately after you use the fill handle. Now, it's only going to hang around here and be available until we go do something else. As soon as you perform some other operation in the worksheet, this goes away and it doesn't come back. So it's a use it or lose it kind of deal. But we're going to use it. Click the button and it says, what do you want to do? How do you want to change the way the fill handle just behaved? And I want to say just fill formatting only. In other words, just bring the red down, but not Bob. And there you go, a bunch of red guys. Okay, over here, we want to fill without formatting. That is that we want to take the word January and we want to fill it in a series of months. January, February, March, April, and so forth. But we don't want to override this orange background color. We just want it all to stay orange, but have the months in it just the same. All right, here we go. Drag the fill handle down, and sure enough, we get the months, but it certainly overrode the orange. So we go to the AutoFill Options button and we say, yep, fill without formatting. In other words, bring down the content, but not the format. Now over here in column E, we have a date. Excel has special options for working with dates. So let me scroll down here a little bit, and let's see what those options are. Pull the fill handle down, click the button, and we got all these things here. Besides our normal fill formatting only and fill without formatting, we have fill days, fill weekdays, fill months, and fill years. Well, okay, so for this one, let's try fill months. Excel changes the dates that it just added so that now the months increment, January, February, March, April, May, the date stays the same. It's the first the whole way down, and the year stays the same. Cool. Let's go over to the next one. Here we're going to do years. Pull the fill handle down. Click the button, choose Fill Years, and now we get a different year in each row. The month and the date stay the same, the year increments. All right, let's go over to this one. Now here I have the cell formatted to display the entire date and day because I want you to be able to see the days of the week. We use the fill handle to copy this down. Notice we have, of course, Saturdays and Sundays in the mix. All right, we're going to click the AutoFill Options button and choose Fill Weekdays. And look at this, it removes the Saturdays and Sundays from the list. Now you might be looking up here in the first cell going, well, there's a Saturday, but that's because that was there before. It's not a product of the fill handle like all these highlighted cells are. All right, let's go over to this cell. What if you're working with one of the days of the week and you don't want it to fill in a series? Of course, when you use the fill handle, you're going to get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so forth. But I just want to see Monday, 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 Monday. So what we're going to do is click the button and say, Copy Cells. This just takes an exact duplicate of whatever's in the original cell and copies it down to the other places. Now you may be wondering, can I use the fill handle to go right? Well, sure you can. Just grab the fill handle and drag to the right. You can go left, right, up, and down. The only thing you can't do is go diagonally. But hey, if you wanted to, you could go right, leave everything selected, and then go down. The possibilities are endless. And there you have it. Endless possibilities with one of the most useful tools in Excel.